Hello my friends, today we will take a first look at Topaz Photo AI. It's the newest app from Topaz that combines together the very popular, well-known Topaz Sharpen AI, Denoise, and Gigapixel. Now they're all in one app and I will show you how it works. We will use this image. And if you see this image, it has a high ISO. This is at 2000 ISO shot. And we will just do some quick basic edits before we take it into Photo AI. I am going to crop it quite a lot, something like that. And then I will accept the crop. I will increase the exposure just a little bit. I'm not going to go too crazy. It's just this very quick edit, just so, we can work with a more pleasing image. I'm going to increase the whites a little bit, hold down Option to make sure I'm not clipping anything. Take down the blacks a little bit, add some texture, maybe 18, a little bit of clarity, maybe 16. Vibrance, I'll go to 25, that looks good to me. I'm gonna leave saturation alone. And to calibration panel, I will increase the saturation the saturation of the blue to about 30, and that just brings all the colors out. If you see this, the calibration, this is the before. And this is the after, before and after. It just makes this green pop. I can even go more. If I go to 100%, then you can really see it, but that's a little bit too much, so I'll take it down. I'll leave it to 48. That still looks good. And I want to maybe darken the background a little bit. But first, let's go down the line over here. I just want to add a little bit of sharpening. I'll leave it the default 40, and I'll hold down Option while moving the mask to about 91 to make sure I'm only sharpening the bird, not the background, because we already know it has some noise and I do not want to sharpen the noise. I'll click Remove Chromatic Aberration, Enable Profile Correction, and now I want to darken the background a little bit so the bird will stand out a little bit more. And for that, I'll go over here into Masking and I'll click Select Subject. Now, Lightroom is going to do its best to select the subject, but as you can see, it's not a perfect selection. To make this perfect selection, we need to add to this. So I am going to first invert the mask, because right now we would be darkening the bird. You see the bird is red. So we have to go to Mask 1, click on the 3 dots and invert the mask. And now we need to add to the selection to get these parts that the program missed. So I will go to the Mask 1, click on here and then Add. And I will use a brush to add to the mask. I make sure the auto mask is on, and this just means the Lightroom will use its edge aware. And I'm going to zoom in at 200% just so I can see what I'm doing. And going over here with a small brush, I can just add these portions in. And it doesn't have to be perfect. If I hold down Option, it does the opposite. It like deletes the parts of the mask. So that was an easy add-on, and now we have to add over here to the tail, and I'm gonna go over and then hold down Option. It's easier to just correct this portion, and I will just add these portions as well. Option to remove the parts I went over, and still have some over here. And we do not have to be perfect because we're not gonna completely remove the background or anything like that. We are just simply just darkening it. Actually, I will show you a trick. Let me show you a trick. This is going to be a 2-for-1. So this looks like a good mask, and now I can just darken the background, and you see that just makes our bird stand out. Now here is a trick. If you want to completely change the background, you might think that, well, all I have to do is add blue, like from the temperature, or yellow, or I can work with the green or the magenta just from the temperature, but that is not the best way to alter the background color. Here is a trick. If you go with the background selected, we know we have a mask over here. We're still on the mask. And I will go on the mask. I'll go to the saturation and reduce the saturation 100%. And now we have a gray background. And a gray background, it's a perfect background because it's a white slate. You can paint with any color you want on it. So now go over here where it says color. You see it has this X. That means no color. It's added to this mask. And if I click on it, now I can choose any color I want from this chart. which is all the colors from the, you know, RGB. So here you have your saturation if you want it to be less saturated, or if you want your color to be 100% saturation or 50% or whatever you might choose, you can change it to any color you want. So anyway, this is how you would change the color to something in Lightroom. It doesn't have to be the background. Anything you can mask, you can change the color to it. To reset it, I just double click on the color and that resets the colors. And then we just take the exposure down a little bit. And there you go, the bird is standing out. I can even add a little bit of blue if I want from the temperature, but I don't like that one. I'll just keep it a little bit darker and just leave it the way it was. So anyway, now we're done with all of that. Let's just take this into photo, edit in, and go to Topaz Photo AI. And Photo AI really, it makes things so much easier and faster because you don't have to go through 3 different programs to adjust your image. It's all in one and you get all the recommended settings. It just makes things easier, but there are some drawbacks to it and I will go through that in a second. So right now, this is what a Topaz AI looks like. I'm going to make it bigger so you can see it better. Let's make it even bigger. There you go. Now this is the interface of Topaz Photo AI. Let me just zoom out to fit to screen. And over here we are on autopilot, that means we're on auto, and the program detected the subject. If you hover over it, you see what it detected. It also detected there is no faces, there is no humans, because they will protect the faces features and sharpness if you have faces. Then it says the subject is out of focus, and because of that, it already added some sharpen AI. And it says the luminance noise level is low and it does not believe it needs removal of the noise. You see, this is toggled off. Now, of course, this is just a recommendation. You can always change it. And for this image, for example, I will want to remove some noise because if you remember, this image was taken at ISO 2000 and I like my images to have no noise. So I will click the noise, remove noise. And now I can do normal or strong. Right now, normal is checked, and let me just zoom at 100% so I can see what happened, and I can move the image around and let's see, this is the before, this is the after, before and after. It's still loading. You see this bar over here. Every time you move something, everything has to reload. And there you go, the preview, it's updated and there's really no noise now. Everything, it looks nice and sharp and no noise. Now, in my opinion, this sharpen, it went a little bit too far. So you see it shows lens blur. What if I just choose motion blur? Will that look better? You don't have to go with what they recommend. You can try every setting and see what works best for your image. It takes a while, like I said, every time you change something, all the preview has to update. So that was too much, so I go with lens blur and I will remove some of the strength. I will make it maybe just 18 because I thought my image was pretty sharp and I really don't want to sharpen it too much, but I did want to add that noise reduction. So I added that even though the program did not recommend noise reduction. Now, so you have your remove noise, you have your sharpen, and you have your enhance and resize. For the resize, if you're working with a small file, if you cropped a lot, or if you work with an iPhone photo, you can resize to whatever percentage you want. Automatically, the program does not resize it. This is up to you if you want to add it to your tools over here. And for this image, I don't need to resize it. And the image looks good just the way it is. This is the menu where you can see your preview. You can see it in single image. You can see it with the bar the way we have, where you can scroll this bar to see the before and after, or you can see them side by side. This is the navigation window where you can move the square around to see what you want to see in your big screen. Now there's one more thing I want to point out. Every one of these tools, the remove noise, sharpen, they have a mask and they have subject only. You see this one has the eyeball for it. So if you click it, you can see the mask of it, and it is turned on, so it's only sharpening the subject in this case. If you want to sharpen the whole image, you will toggle this off and it sharpens the whole image. And if you want to just, mask the subject only, then you will toggle this on. Now, this is the one thing I don't really like about this program, and I like it the way when you use just the normal Topaz Denoise or Sharpen AI, that the mask you can paint on it and you can choose what you want to sharpen. This one, it just has the, select subject and you sharpen the subject. But in this case, for the, wildlife, for example, I would never just sharpen the whole bird. I would just sharpen the eye. But that's just my style of editing. And I like to have that, creative option that I can just sharpen whatever I want, not the whole subject. But other than that, this is pretty much the program. I think it's very cool and definitely saves a lot of time because you don't have to open, 3 different programs. It's all in one and it just makes your life a lot easier. When you're happy with your changes, just click on Save to External Editor, and then you will see this progress bar and the image will be sent back into Lightroom. And there you have it. This is our processed image. And if I go to 100%, everything looks nice. We have no noise. Everything is sharp and it looks the way it should look. If I go back and reset our original image, let's see. This is our edited image. I'm just going to zoom it in maybe like that. And this is our original image. So we went from that to that. And this is fit to screen. That is pretty much for today. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Skyler Ewing and I'll see you in my next video.